Good morning, everyone. Lee Henson, president and founder of AgileDad here, and it's time for today's episode of the Daily Stand-Up. Without any further ado, let's get started. Today is November 12th, and today is a special day because today we are going to be exploring how to help your business grow. Now, when I talk about grow, I am talking about the acronym Goals, Reality, Opportunities, and Will. And I know we've covered this topic at length before, but today I have an opportunity to present at my Agile roots. So please let me explain. The company AgileDad was originally founded and built in Salt Lake City, Utah. And we still have a very active office and an active presence in the Salt Lake Agile community. We also have an opportunity for a number of years to be the diamond sponsor for PMI of Utah, the Project Management Institute for Salt Lake City, the Northern Utah chapter specifically. And we have had lots of ups and downs and things go right and wrong. But overall, I have an opportunity today to do a presentation for them about the difference you can make when you scale properly. How do you literally help your business grow? And I think the first thing you have to address is you have to ask yourself, how do you become an innovative disruptor? How can you change things in the way they're going inside of your organization? And that begs the question, how can you change your mentality from a fixed to a growth mindset? What do you have to adjust? What are the things that have to pivot inside in order for you to achieve that true business agility? I think that in a fixed mindset, we say failure is the limit of my abilities. Where in a growth mindset, we say failure is an opportunity to grow. So I think it's just important for us to decide how we want to pivot and what we want to do. Oftentimes when it comes to scaling and to trying to do certain things, we force ourselves to learn or understand a story a certain way. So let me explain. Many organizations who are failing or who are not being successful, they make it their mission to scale because they want to find a way to really be successful. They want to find a way to find that next new iPhone or that next new hot product, right? So instead of limiting the number of things that they build, they try to scale very quickly so that they can A, keep up with the needs of consumers, or B, have wide-scale innovation. The bad news is when you do this, oftentimes you take your people and you spread them so thin that you're unable to have that widespread growth that you're seeking. You tell yourself the story that this is a good thing, but you wind up reducing team sizes, not letting people stick together long-term in teams. You end up causing panic to ensue anytime there's a big change on the horizon. You take people, your star performers, and delegate them 20% here, 50% here, 90% here, 70% here, and claim that it's 100% of their time, knowing that they're overburdened and overloaded and that there's no way they can meet that type of capacity. So I think for starters, when people talk to me about growth and about scaling, the first thing I tell them is you need to tell yourself a different story. And this has to do with fixed versus growth mindset, right? When we come across difficult challenges, how we react to them is based on our own story and the way that we interpret it. Let's say it like this. Our actions are a manifestation of our beliefs. It's true. The first step to enable a growth mindset is to learn to catch yourself in the moment, make a choice, and then stand by your decision. Sometimes that might mean descaling or scaling back. Sometimes that might mean doing things different than you originally intended. Sometimes that might mean changing the way you originally thought of something or getting rid of a cognitive bias. Sometimes, you need to challenge yourself to think differently. You need to challenge yourself to accept things. I think the big thing here is the fixed mindset is based on bias that others have elected to see about us and not on what we truly believe about ourselves. That's what it boils down to. Don't underestimate the skills and strengths that you have, right? Allow yourself to always strive to do more and be better than before. If you're doing these things, those are the things that are going to help you grow. Those are the things that are going to help your organization see things differently. In a fixed mindset, intelligence becomes static. In a growth mindset, intelligence can constantly be developed and improved. And I think that those are the type of things that we have to look for. So here are a couple of steps of things you can do. First, you need to set some learning goals instead of performance goals. Commit that you're going to learn something new every day. Seek to learn instead of proving yourself to everyone that you're right. And I think if you do this, you can then focus on what leads to your desired outcome. Sometimes it's a strict process that you have to follow to get to that desired outcome, whether it's eating right or exercising. Other times it's deciding that you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. You have to come to the conclusion that success isn't going to happen overnight. You have to pave your way with a clear vision and a strategy to execute on that vision. You need to focus on skills and intelligence. Identify your concerns. What effort are you putting towards them? How are you handling challenges? What are you doing with feedback? How do you interpret mistakes? All of these things are important for us to learn. But I think it also begins where many people fall off. So many people, when they fail, they give up. They throw in a towel. They say, that's enough, I can't handle it. I think part of success is to capitalize on your failures. You need to learn to innovate from failure. Meg Whitman, CEO of eBay and former chair of HP, said, failure breeds innovation. And if we're failing to fail, we're failing to innovate. And I just thought that was a powerful quote, right? We need to make sure that we understand that failure gives us an opportunity to identify what didn't work and plan for course correction. And I think that all too often we don't necessarily address things that way, right? We look for different opportunities. I think the other challenge that many organizations face is when they're shooting low and trying to do things that are simple, like basic Scrum or Agile implementation, and it's not working. They automatically want to set bigger goals to try to scale and do something different to fix what was broken before. And I think the key here is not to focus so large when what's so small isn't working so well. I think you need to focus just a little bit above your level and set a clear path. And I think if you do those things, you're going to be wildly successful. The truth is, fixed mindset is very limiting. In whatever you do, you end up avoiding challenges, giving up easily, feeling threatened by other success. Growth mindset is freedom, where you persevere in the face of failure. You realize that effort is required to build new skills, and you find inspiration from other people's successes. You embrace challenges and move forward, right? And you're willing to accept criticism. All of those things are just so important. But I think, we all know the story of the tortoise and the hare, and, slow and steady wins the race. Growth mindset requires practice, and it's not overnight. You need to focus on growth, and you need to learn from your past behavior, but most importantly, you need to be consistent in your decisions. Another fault that I see all the time is that people constantly jump back and forth when it comes to making decisions. They bounce with whatever is the most common trend thing, and you can't do that. You need to understand that all humans are unique. We all make different decisions, and we all need to focus differently. So bringing it back to growth, I want to talk about the acronym GROW. And those 4 questions: what is our goal? What are we trying to achieve? How do we understand our goal and how it's going to contribute to our success? What is our reality? What we need to embrace is what's happening now and understand how we can adapt or adjust what's happening now so we can have a bigger and better goal. What are our options? This is the challenge. And when I often tell people, I'm like, look at all the options, right? There's never just one steady option. Try to find one option that's going to work for you and see if that's a good option. But if not, be open to all options. Don't limit yourself. And I find that the companies that limit themselves are the companies that really struggle. But just because you have 100 options doesn't mean you're going to do 100 things. That leads you to the W and GROW. What will you commit to do? You can only commit to do what your capacity allows or affords you to do. You need to really focus and figure out what that means for you and your organization and figure out how you're going to make an impact and how you're going to make a difference. What I can tell you is that most organizations are scaling prematurely. Most organizations aren't dealing well with remote teams and with the new normal, if you will. Most organizations are still trying to adjust and pivot. Most organizations aren't focused on the training and coaching necessary to help people figure out how to work better together in a remote environment. There are a lot of steps that we can take in order to make things better, but I think it all begins with you. So to all my friends who are going to be attending today at the PMI Luncheon in Salt Lake, I look forward to presenting this topic with you. For those of you who won't be there, I hope that you enjoyed this brief micro coverage of what we're going to talk about. So As always, I encourage you to visit AgileDad.com where you can learn more about this topic and others. And it was such a pleasure to be with you today. Until next time, stay well, stay healthy, and stay agile, my friends. Do take care.